In Bradford, we use roughly about 12,000 units of blood and blood components a year.
What we would like to have for the UK is a minimum of 6 days stock of blood.
Blood. We all need it, but inside a hospital it becomes something more. A vital resource, shared, stored, tracked and transfused to keep patients alive. Our hospitals, like our patients, simply can't run without it. The Transfusion Practitioner team here at the Trust make sure every unit of blood is safe, traceable and ready when it's needed the most. The team's commitment to improvement and innovation has seen a major upgrade to their system this year. Today we hear how this investment has transformed their work and the lives that depend on it.
In Bradford, we use roughly about 12,000 units of blood and blood components a year. So we have conditions in Bradford such as sickle cell anaemia, thalassaemia and other rare anaemias, and those patients rely on the blood transfusions to keep them alive.
Blood stock levels is a continuous issue in the UK. What we would like to have for the UK is a minimum of 6 days stock of blood. There has been occasions in the Amber Alert where this has gone down to 3 days, and even more so where it's gone down to less than a day. As a trust, as an organisation, we are responsible for making sure that we administer blood appropriately, but also that we try and reduce our wastage as much as possible.
When the sample is being taken, the member of staff who's taken it has to handwrite the sample next to the patient immediately after it's been taken. If a sample arrives and a 3 looks like an 8 on the sample, it will be rejected. If Stephen is spelt with a PH instead of a V, it will be rejected. Because we have a zero tolerance policy, we have to reject those samples.
On the previous system, clinical areas would fill out a blood collection slip with all of the patient details on, and then they would come to this fridge to locate their unit of blood. And that was very reliant on ward staff having to route through and find the blood for their patient. So you're hoping that they've filled out the slip correctly, and you're hoping that they complete the bedside checks correctly to make sure that they're getting the right bag of blood, which in itself has got room for a lot of human error.
Patients that get the wrong blood, it always starts with getting the blood out of the fridge. So if we can start by making that part safer, it will save a lot of issues further down the line. We decided that we wanted to write a business case to bring in the full electronic system.
From the 11th of November, we introduced these new HaemoBanks. So that's already having a massive impact from a safety perspective. And here's what the new fridges look like. So when they want to come down here and get a bag of blood, they're logging. So until we get the PDAs rolled out, they'll have to type in the patient's MRN number.
Into the patient information. Confirm the patient.
It asks them to do a confirmation check. And then, as you can see, it highlights the drawer that has that patient's bag of blood in. So they can open the door, and as you can see here, they're not able to access any blood for any other patient. They can only access the drawer for the blood that they want for their patient. And then they can take that unit of blood out,
from the tray.
Close the drawer. They tell the system that they're taking the blood, so they scan it out, they do other checks.
Good.
And then that's it.
This is safer because you're less likely to get the wrong blood for the wrong patient.
We currently had 2 blood fridges. One was in maternity and one was in our pathology main corridor, which was for the rest of the hospital. We've replaced those 2 with 2 new HaemoBank fridges, and we've also purchased 2 new fridges, one to go in A&E and one to go in acute theatres. So it's areas that use quite a lot of blood. If they need it quickly. So it's useful for them to have the blood there on site.
So the new system uses a handheld device, a little bit like what courier companies use.
Once we get the PDAs rolled out, they'll be able to scan the patient's wristband, and it will print off a little sticker for them to put on the collection slip. And this is what we print when we go down to the fridge. When they get the blood out of the fridge and they take it back to the ward, they'll be able to tell the system that that unit of blood is on that ward. And then when they're administering the blood to the patient, they'll be able to scan the patient's wristband, scan the bag of blood, and it will do a digital patient ID check for them. By digitalising the transfusion process, it's going to massively have an impact on human error mistakes.
Like a lot of systems, if it's electronic, it's safer, it's quicker, it's more streamlined, and it's been shown on some research to save 17 minutes per bag of blood of staff time when you use the full electronic system.
The beauty of this upgrade is there's so much that we can do. So we've already got quite a couple of years' work ahead of us to get it where we want it to be. So even in a couple of years, once we get it where we want it, there's going to be new ways of improving the system further. So it is very exciting.